Welcome back. M&A activity surging leading up to and throughout the presidential election. One of the proposed mergers that gained the most attention was the AT&T-Time Warner deal. Donald Trump, on the campaign trail, vowed to block the deal, said it's too big and too dominant. Joining us right now is the CEO and co-founder of Activate, one of the foremost experts on technology and telecom today. Michael Wolff is here. Michael, good to see you.
Great to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. What about that? Donald Trump says he's going to kill this deal. What do you see?
There's a lot of reasons why this deal should go through. I mean, first of all, the $35 cable package with 100 channels that they've said that they're going to launch, by the way, including internet access on your phone, that's a populist package. That makes a lot of sense for a lot of consumers. So blocking this deal doesn't make sense. I mean, you basically say people should continue to pay very high amounts for cable TV.
Yeah, I mean, look, Michael, we know, Mike, we know that the industry is changing incredibly, and getting in the way of the free markets, I'm not so sure about that.
Absolutely, but I think if you look back, that came up during the election, you know, while he was campaigning. I think now, I believe President-elect Trump is going to make the best business decision possible, and I agree completely with Michael that this deal shouldn't be blocked. This is a positive for consumers because the way we consume content has changed rapidly, and it's not going backwards. That's the way of the future. So this deal makes sense, and I can't see him blocking it.
And it also makes sense from an infrastructure perspective. If they're going to offer this package via 5G, that means that AT&T is going to have to build out a massive amount of infrastructure, which is going to mean new towers and new jobs.
Yeah. Let me ask you, because the way that people are consuming media right now, you've been working on, you have a big report that you've just done. You're tracking trends in the technology and media industry, and you put together a detailed review of the landscape for 2017. Talk to us about how you see media telecom changing in the next year or 3 years.
Right. First of all, we don't see huge amounts of cord cutting. There's a lot of people that will continue. They get a huge amount of value out of cable TV, including watching this show. Second of all, the services that people are getting, like Netflix, in the next couple of years, they're going to have more than one of those services. The average American will probably have about 2 of them. They'll have Netflix and something else. Netflix and Hulu, Netflix and Amazon Prime.
They'll pay for everything.
They'll pay for everything. And the third thing is that we are likely to see people getting more television over the internet, but it's going to come from the same people. It's going to come from DirecTV, which is going to offer this DirecTV Now package. It's going to come from Charter and all of the other major cable operators. It's not going to come from people like Sony, who they're going to be dead in the water with their own services.
So you're not worried that millennials are not buying televisions? Most college students don't buy TVs.
You know, it's interesting. Our research shows that pretty much a large percentage of them are sharing passwords with their parents.
Yep, we heard that too.
And most of them, if they didn't get the password for free, 80% of them would pay for it themselves.
Michael, I have to ask you about the NFL and what's happened. Obviously, a major story about the ratings decline. Yeah. We're going to now know whether or not the election had a major impact. What are your thoughts about what's been happening?
I believe that the election has had a major impact. I also think that some of this comes down to there's a lot of football on television right now.
Too much product.
I mean, there's television on across the board on too many networks. And the third thing is you've almost got to look at these weren't the best games. And television is not going to go. Television is America's favorite habit, and it's not going to go away. And Americans continue to watch, on average, 30 hours a week of television. In a lot of cases, they're losing sleep. Football is the thing that they want to watch.
Yeah, and do you think like an Amazon is going to be there to bid for Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, when the deals expire in, what is it, 18, I think?
The end of 18, beginning of 19, those are years to watch what's going to happen with sports rights because a lot of them come up for renewal. Yes, I believe that we're going to see some bids because those networks and those over-the-top services, they're going to have a lot of money. They're going to have a lot more subscribers, and they're going to need sports in order to continue to get subscriptions.
Before we go, real quick, I love this prediction that you have. By 2020, gaming time will more than double, fueled by esports. Messaging will grow faster than social media.
This next year, we're going to see the great messaging wars between all of the major technology companies. Every one of the technology companies this year has either launched a messaging chatbot, has launched a new messaging service, or both. And there's a huge amount of money, and this is what we're going to see over the next year, and it's going to be a lot of people's time.
It's true. What do you do on your phone? You're messaging people.
You're messaging, yeah. I think you're spot on with that.
And people are worried about cybersecurity on those messaging apps as well.
They are, but if you look at the messaging apps, for example, WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger, Telegram, and also Snapchat, the messages don't stay there. And let's be clear, a lot of this is about personal communication. It's not about, there's business communication, but those apps are much smaller. Those are going to be things like Microsoft Teams and Slack.
We used to look at Mary Meeker and her trends report. Now we're looking at Activate and Michael Wolff's trends report. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Good to see you. Michael Wolff there.